Hey everyone, you got TigerChainsaw here, and recently I put out a video where I ranked all 6 Mega Man games on the NES, and it got a pretty good dialogue going, and I loved hearing your thoughts on where you would rank each game in the series. And so I thought I would go a little bit more in depth and do a review on each of the 6 games. Now I've already done a review on Mega Man 1 and Mega Man 2, so now it's time to put Mega Man 3 in the spotlight. Now Mega Man 3 ushered in the franchise to the 90s, and it did come with 2 major improvements from Mega Man 2. But would that be enough to push Mega Man 3 past Mega Man 2? We're here to find out. So let's get into it. The Mega Man series was really starting to take off after the release of the first 2 games for Nintendo in the late 80s. Bursting onto the scene in 1990, Capcom released Mega Man 3 for the NES. The Blue Bomber would face new robot masters and would encounter a new antagonist in Proto Man. Would the 3rd game in the series continue the success that Mega Man 2 created? We're here to find that out, starting with the plot of Mega Man 3, and of course, spoilers are ahead. By this point in the franchise, Dr. Wily has twice tried to take over the world, first infecting Dr. Light's original industrial robots with a virus that turned them into killing machines. And then in the 2nd game, he created his own batch of killer robots. After begging for mercy in both games, Dr. Wily has now found his sanity, according to Dr. Light. The 2 of them begin work together, and yes, I know this sounds like a great idea based on the previous 2 games, and even better, they start on a peacekeeping project. Powering up the peacekeeping robots that are not quite ready for the public eye are 8 power crystals that have been mined from the earth. The robots that were overseeing the mining locations have now gone berserk and have started to go on a rampage. Dr. Light calls on Mega Man to figure out what's going on and to put a stop to the 8 robots that are out of control. So, like the first 2 games, Mega Man bursts onto the scene and defeats the 8 robot masters. But during his quest, he encounters a mysterious robot named Breakman, who battles Mega Man on numerous occasions throughout his mission. Now, after securing the 8 power crystals, Dr. Wily steals them and runs off to a hidden fortress to power up those peacekeeping robots that he and Dr. Light were working on. What a shock. Dr. Wily plans on using them for evil purposes, so Mega Man hurries over to his fortress and fights through hordes of robots before fighting and defeating Dr. Wily. Now this is where it gets a little bit interesting. The fortress begins to crumble and Breakman comes to the rescue of Mega Man, taking him out from under the fortress right before the ceiling falls. Dr. Wily is not so lucky. He is left behind in the wreckage, and it is unknown whether he survives. It's not like there's like 12 sequels, but whatever. At this time, people didn't know if Dr. Wily was dead or alive. Back at the lab, Dr. Light concludes that the rogue robot named Breakman that rescued Mega Man was his first attempt at a robot, and his name is Proto Man. So the formula for Mega Man plots have never really changed too much, but what I really did like was the inclusion of Proto Man. It definitely added a sense of mystery to who is this robot that keeps attacking me and whose side is he really on, especially at the end when he ends up rescuing Mega Man and then Dr. Light reveals that he is indeed the first robot that they ever worked on. To me, I thought this was super cool and just a little bit of a bonus lore in the Mega Man franchise. Now I'm gonna start with something I didn't like with Mega Man 3, and I'm gonna end it with something I didn't like with Mega Man 3, but sandwiched in between is a ton of good. The first thing that I was disappointed in was I felt like the presentation took a step backwards. In Mega Man 2, you have this really cool opening scene of Mega Man overlooking the city on this skyscraper as the music begins. To me, I know it's something really small, but I just loved that epic feeling, and I was pretty disappointed that Mega Man 3 didn't offer anything like that. It's just the menu, and then you hit start, and then you pick a Robot Master. Now let's get to all the good stuff that Mega Man 3 did. Capcom once again improved on the backgrounds on all of the levels with impressive details that just kept me peeking behind Mega Man as I made my way through each level. If you lined up the first Mega Man and the third Mega Man, you can tell how much effort is being put into the background. I feel like in each Mega Man game, they continuously improve on the stages that you go through before the Dr. Wily Fortress. For instance, on Magnet Man's stage, you have these magnet robots that are pulling at Mega Man from the top of the screen. I just thought that was really cool and just a fun enemy to try and avoid. And just like the previous entries, you'll have to face a Robot Master at the end of each level. And Mega Man 3 offers another 8 Robot Masters for you to defeat. Why don't we take a look at the 8 Robot Masters that you'll face off against? There's Gemini Man, who was born between May 21st and June 21st. Magnet Man, who is always attracting people. Needle Man, a very popular choice among junkies. Shadow Man, who is not afraid of his own shadow. Snake Man, who was actually sorted into the Slytherin house before becoming a peacekeeping robot. Then of course there's Spark Man, just give him a kiss to see if you have any feelings for him. And rounding out the 8 Robot Masters, you have Top Man, who is not a bottom, and Hard Man, who is popular with Top Man. Once you defeat all 8 Robot Masters, you will collect their powers. Each Robot Master has a weakness, so of course there is a correct path in which you should play through. And yes, I definitely looked it up before starting the game. There were 2 huge inclusions that Mega Man 3 added to the gameplay. One of them was the sliding mechanic. With this ability, Mega Man can slide continuously through tight spaces, and I loved it. I thought it went very smooth in controlling him as he slid beneath things. The sliding mechanic really does come into play as you're battling certain bosses, as it acts as almost a dodge tool that you have in your pocket when you want to get underneath the boss instead of jumping over them. Mega Man's trusty dog Rush is also called into action once again, giving him the ability to jump higher, swim underwater, and fly through the air. The other really big inclusion that I've already kind of discussed is Proto Man. I thought it was really nice to see someone else in the gameplay and someone else that kind of picked on Mega Man. You always battled him and you knew he was coming when he did his little iconic whistle, but to me, whenever you faced off against Proto Man, at least for the first time, I had no idea who he was or what he wanted, and so it just added an element of excitement, but also added an element of mystery to the gameplay, which I thought went really well for Mega Man 3. Now, just like the other 2 Mega Man games, Mega Man 3 is a very tough platformer. You will have to memorize enemy patterns, level layouts, and practice. Like the other 2, this is not going to be a game that you rush through on your very first attempt. There are big and small enemies around every bend, and of course it also comes with brutal platforming. And yes, you guys know by now, the thing I hate the most about the Mega Man series is the disappearing blocks. And yes, of course they return, giving me countless headaches. They are one of my least favorite features in the Mega Man series, but you just gotta deal with it. Thankfully, like Mega Man 2, Mega Man 3 is pretty generous with giving you health cans, and after a couple enemies, it seems like you're always going to get some health, which really goes a long way in preparing you to fight the Robot Masters. Okay, so you have the inclusion of Proto Man, you have the inclusion of a new sliding mechanic, but as I said, I'm going to complain about something, and this is kind of where Mega Man 2 pulls ahead of Mega Man 3. To me, Mega Man 3 overstayed its welcome. It just felt like every Mega Man game was just getting longer and longer and longer. And for me, Mega Man 3 was just too long. I knew that Dr. Wily would have a base and that I'd have to beat it, but I was not expecting to face 4 more robot bosses along with another 8. How many times can I refight the robot bosses? To me, it gets tiring and a little bit exhausting. But I will say they did give a little bit of a twist to some of the Robot Masters, which I did appreciate. The last 4 Robot Masters take the powers of previous bosses found in the first 2 Mega Man games. So while I was very annoyed that I had to fight more Robot Masters, I did think it was a pretty cool nod to the previous games. One thing that I was a little bit frustrated about in Dr. Wily's Fortress was this knockoff version of the Yellow Devil. You fight the Yellow Devil in Mega Man 1, and it is one of the toughest boss fights to me in all of video games. So they return with this knockoff that just has big tits instead of the real Yellow Devil. Maybe I wouldn't have minded seeing the Yellow Devil again. I just thought that the knockoff brand of this boss was kinda lame. But believe me, it was just as tough. Now the fight at the end with Dr. Wily, I found to be one of the easier fights in the game. And that kind of goes along with the theme of Dr. Wily doesn't seem to be the toughest boss in any of these games. It always seems to be the bosses in his fortress, but it's never him. That's not really a complaint, it's just more of an observation. Once you finally get to Dr. Wily and fight him, of course things are never as easy as what it seems. Once you defeat him, he is indeed a robot. So then you have to find the real Dr. Wily. And to me, I'm never one to be a fan of fake final bosses, so once I defeated that Dr. Wily and it turns out he's just a robot, that was again something that I was kind of pissed about. But I will say the actual final fight against Dr. Wily is really cool. Just because of how big the sprite is on the screen, Dr. Wily is in some huge robot, and you see him inside the face, and then you also have the fists that are coming at you. It's just something that's really cool to see on the NES, and I did appreciate how good that boss fight looked. Mega Man 3 adds some good elements to the series with Proto Man and the ability to slide. It's too long for my taste and comes along with a predictable twist, and it is brutal how many times you will die. So it's best to use that password system. But what's my final score for Mega Man 3? I'm giving Mega Man 3 a 7.8, which means it's a game that you really should play. You don't need to own it, but it does a lot of great things for the Mega Man franchise, and it's just a really cool piece of history, and you can see some of the improvements of the franchise with Mega Man 3. So that was my Mega Man 3 review. Where would you put Mega Man 3 in the series? So many gamers say it's either Mega Man 2 or Mega Man 3, but for me, it's neither. But they're both great games. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of Proto Man being included into the series, as well as the sliding mechanic. And while you're there, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel to watch plenty of Mega Man content, NES content, and plenty of retro gaming content. Thanks for watching, happy gaming, and of course, make sure you play a video game today.